Hello, everyone. We are back. My name is Carly Reilly, and I have two camera angles today. That's right. I'm looking at you here. I'm looking at you here. I'm looking at you back over here. Maybe I'll throw it back here. You never know. We're upgrading the studio here. Now, of course, I do need like a better lens for this second camera because it's not as crisp as the other shot, but progress, not perfection. I'm working on it. In any case, I'm Carly Reilly. I may have already said that. I have been covering the Sam Bankman-Fried trial for the past month plus now, going to the court every day to bring you everything you need to know about this historic case. And I say historic, and yet nothing's really new under the sun. Before there was Sam Bankman-Fried, there was another cult-ish of personality billionaire founder with strange style preferences and a proclivity for spending profligately. And his name was Adam Neumann. That's right, folks. Adam Neumann. You may know the story of Adam and of WeWork. Well, why are we talking about it right now? Because yesterday, WeWork declared bankruptcy. Now, as one internet commenter put it, I swear I thought they were bankrupt already when that show came out, which is very fair. A show came out about WeWork called We Crashed. But the bankruptcy is only happening right now. If you haven't followed the story, the basic contours of it actually look not entirely dissimilar to FTX, minus as much criminality. There was less criminality in the WeWork situation. In case you missed it, the basic contours of WeWork is you've got Adam Neumann, very charismatic founder, very good salesman, very bad at managing a balance sheet. Nevertheless, he gets a whole bunch of people to give him a lot of money, which allows him to get a valuation for his company of $47 billion. That's right, $47 billion. Now, what was this company? The basic business model here is they would enter into long-term lease agreements with buildings, and then they would add some ping pong tables, they would add some pool tables, they'd add some coffee. They'd be like, millennials, you like cold brew, don't you? Come to our office space. And then people would pay them for like daily or weekly or monthly access to rent this office in a short-term way. They did try to pretend they were a tech company for a long time. That was on the back of the fact that they had like an app that connected the offices to each other or something, but it didn't work. So really was kind of full of shit. In any case, the other key player in this whole story was Masayoshi Son, who's a big Japanese billionaire. He's the owner of SoftBank. He's got a crazy history as well. Frankly, it's probably worth doing a whole episode just on Masayoshi Son and SoftBank. In any case, Masayoshi Son's $100 million vision fund invested $4.4 billion initially in WeWork, which got it its $47 billion valuation. Over time, I believe that SoftBank and Vision Fund had to put like $11.7 billion or something into WeWork just to get it to keep functioning. And it was like a letter of credit and whatever. They sunk so much money into this business. Masayoshi Son quite famously asked Adam Neumann, and I think this is true, I don't know, you hear this story a lot. He asked him who would win in a fight, the smart guy or the crazy guy, and Adam Neumann said the crazy guy.
Who the fuck do you think you are, you crazy little
Oh boy. In any case, the problems with WeWork were many. Number one problem, and this again, not entirely dissimilar to FTX, was mismatched durations. You had this company that was entering into these long-term lease agreements and entering into them quite quickly, I might say, because Adam Neumann was like, grow, take these lease agreements at any terms, whatever it is, we need to expand. So they were entering into this, we owe money for the long term, we have contractual obligations to pay out this money month after month for 2 years, whatever it was. On the back end, the way they made money was by people who could cancel and stop paying at any time, right? Come for a day, come for a week, come for a month, whatever, that could be pulled back. This obviously doesn't work very well as a business model. And so they were hemorrhaging money. Now, again, not entirely dissimilar to FTX, who, while the details of this are very different, FTX also fundamentally had a mismatched duration problem, which is that they had all these short-term liabilities. They had all these customers who were depositing money with FTX that they could withdraw at any time because this was their money, contrary to Sam Bankman-Fried's opinion. And so they had that problem. But then on the flip side, you had Sam taking that money that could be recalled at any time and putting it in these long-term investments like Anthropic and GDA, and which was a Bitcoin mining company, et cetera, et cetera. Again, the details here are quite different, but like at a high level, similar problems. Okay, problem number 2, profligate spending. When it came to WeWork, they had these expensive lease agreements, but you also had Adam Neumann buying a Gulfstream jet. You had him throwing office parties with performances by Run DMC moments after Adam spoke to the company about how they had to lay off 7% of WeWork. And then you also had Adam, he pulled, I believe it was like $700 million he pulled out of WeWork for his own personal money before they even IPO'd. Not that they were able to IPO under Adam's leadership because it all imploded long before then. In any case, number 3, you had this like arrogant unhinged CEO who controlled the board. Now, this is, I think, frankly, I actually believe that Adam Neumann was even more unhinged than Sam was at the time of the collapse. But still, I think what's so interesting about this is you've had this evolution in American business where you start with GE and Jack Welch and General Motors and these very high and mighty old world CEOs who had boards of directors who controlled things, who could put some limits on what they could do. And then you get this new crop of founders and CEOs like your Mark Zuckerbergs of the world who have all of this preferential stock or however it's structured such that they actually have ultimate voting shares and control of the board and they really can't be voted out. Evan Spiegel has this, like that whole Facebook generation, that whole like social media generation of CEOs really changed the game in terms of making it so that the founder, it was like the cult of the founder has all the control of the board. So Adam Neumann had a deal like this. Of course, this is why he became a billionaire after his company essentially imploded, because to get him out of the company, he had to be paid off this crazy amount of money to get him to leave because he actually had control of the board. But then you have the newest generation of founders like Sam Bankman-Fried, who literally don't have a board at all. Who are just like, no, we're not doing that. Absolutely zero corporate governance. We don't have any of the investors on the board. Like, no. It's just like defining deviancy downward through the generations of startup founders. And we just keep giving more and more power to these cult of personality founders, which I feel like people thought it was going to end after Adam. I feel like people were like, oh, we've learned from the WeWorks of the world. We've learned from all of these different social media startups. Like, we know better now. We're not going to do this. And then you do it again, but worse. Again, but worse with people like Sam. In any case, that's number 3. That doesn't help when you have a completely unhinged founder. My favorite story, however, of Adam Neumann and just the unhinged founder thing is he's apparently, Adam Neumann, big fan of Elon Musk. Aren't we all? Just kidding. A lot of people hate him. In any case, Adam Neumann, big fan of Elon Musk, goes to him and is like, the real challenge isn't getting to Mars. It's going to be building community once we get there. And Elon apparently was just like, no, like absolutely the challenge is getting to Mars. And I love this so much because this comes from WeCult, I think it was, one of the books about WeWork. I read it a long time ago, but I remember that anecdote so strongly because it's so funny to me. And it's also just like Adam Neumann, I'm not going to say is untalented because he certainly is talented, right? He built this massive company. He's a brilliant salesman. Elon, on the other hand, like broadly, just like more intelligent broadly, has a broader range of topics upon which he can opine with some level of authority. But Adam, it's like the most perfect salesman line of all time to be like, the real challenge isn't getting to Mars. The real challenge is what we do once we get there. Like, it sounds deep, and then you think about it, and you're like, probably not true. Probably bullshit. And that, like, Elon just saw through his whole shtick of, like, let me say something high and mighty that sounds like it's lofty, and because I'm 6'5" and handsome, people kind of think that what I'm saying is right. And it's like, nope, you're actually just full of it. In any case, back to the bankruptcy, back to this week. So this week, WeWork declares bankruptcy. In 2021, it had gone public via a SPAC. You just have like the hodgepodge of everything lightly scammy that has come about in the last decade of finance. And finally, this week, it officially says, we're bankrupt. There's nothing more for us to do. Adam Neumann came out with a statement upon this news. He said, quote, "It has been challenging for me to watch from the sidelines since 2019, as WeWork has failed to take advantage of a product that is more relevant today than ever before." Is it hard, Adam? Is it hard to watch them? Why are we in this situation, Adam? Why are we in this? Are we in this because you ran the company into the literal ground by reporting community-adjusted EBITDA? Is that why we're in this situation? Like, it's kind of rich to hear this guy throw stones at current management when the reason you have current management is because old management, Adam, couldn't do the job. In any case, perhaps to Adam's point, I do want to close with this. 5 months ago, WeWork unveiled a rebrand on their YouTube. I want you to check out this video of the WeWork rebrand. If you are listening to this on the podcast version, I will tell you what we are looking at shortly, right after we see it. Okay, I'm going to stop it there. What they go on to do is show that they also are changing some colors around. If you are listening to this podcast, what happened is nothing. We zoomed in on the WeWork logo to literally like the uppermost part of the W and watched the lettering change slightly. They're like, look, we're making it shorter. Like, oh, the curvature has changed so slightly. It's like, what the hell? But this is really funny for two reasons. First of all, it reminds me of the John Mulaney joke about the Catholic Church when he's talking about like the Catholic Church has changed some of the lines. He's like, they put in some new shit. Instead of saying, and also with you, you say, and with your spirit. And John's line is like, because that was the squeaky wheel in the Catholic Church. That's what needed fixing in the Catholic Church.
Because that's what needed revamping in the Catholic Church.
That's how I feel about this. I'm like, yes, because the W is what needed fixing in WeWork. That was the squeaky wheel. But more because the branding was like the one part of WeWork that did in fact work. That's what Adam did very well, was he branded shit well, and he dominated the category. I mean, he really created something like Xerox or Kleenex, where the word has almost become synonymous with the thing. Like if I'm going to a co-working space, regardless of whether it's a WeWork or not, I'll often just be like, yeah, I'm going to a WeWork, because he dominated that category. But okay. In any case, just another funny story of the crazy shenanigans that happen in this world of finance and tech in which we all hang out and follow. I do hope you enjoyed this video. I'm working on a little bit more of an investigative piece where basically I've heard from a number of different people about how the Bankman-Frieds were spending millions of dollars recruiting effective altruists to run for office. And it was just a very ineffective altruist. It was not well run. So I will probably talk about that tomorrow, assuming I have all of my T's crossed and I's dotted for that. But with that, thank you for watching. Please do like, subscribe, comment if you're enjoying these, and I will see you next time.